It's time for the X and Y Show with your host, Mr. Roosevelt. He talks about man topics, lady topics, and relationships. He talks about love, sex, and infidelities. He even gives good tips. There is no other show that compares to the X and Y Show.
Oh yeah. Sit back, take your clothes off, and relax. It's time for the X and Y Show, where real relationship issues are talked about and addressed. The only place on the planet that tackles the topics that everyone wants to talk about, but no one is brave enough to address. Nothing escapes X and Y, baby. Now, here's your host, Roosevelt Colbert.
And greetings, and greetings. Welcome to another segment of the X and Y Show, and I'm your host, Roosevelt, and I'm glad that you're here to join me for another segment of the best podcast on the planet, and that is the X and Y Show, and it is the best because I tell it like it is. I tell you what you don't want to hear when you don't want to hear it, but it's real. It's 100% real. So that's why it's the best podcast on the planet. I'm glad that you have joined me for another week. And with that being said, I'm going to jump right into this week's episode. This week's episode, why do women always pick the scum snake men for mates, then complain when they get bitten? I'm going to repeat that. Why do women always pick the scum snake men for mates, then complain when they get bitten? And basically, it's a question that we've all asked sometime in our lives, especially when I was younger. I always wondered that. I don't really give a fuck now. But, when I was younger, I was, it was a question that I would pose to myself. But damn, why do they pick guys who they know will eventually dog them out, eventually cheat on them, eventually do whatever, and they still run to them? And then when they experience something bad from those guys, then all men are fucked up. I hate all men. Some even turn gay and shit. All kind of crazy shit when initially it was their fault to begin with. But anyway, let me just continue on with tonight's episode. So, I just want to, ask the question, why do women do that? Why do women pick the men who they know are pieces of shit? In my experience, women love men who are pieces of shit. They do. It's like if there was 100 men in the room, they would scope out and pick the one that's the biggest piece of shit and gravitate toward them. It seems like that's what they want. And I've been told by many women, of all races, I'm not going to say of all ages, because usually when a woman gets past her 30s, usually all that bullshit is out the window. She grows up and she's looking for someone to settle down with. Now, of course, you always have exceptions to the rule. There's some women out there in their 30s, 40s, and 50s that's still silly as hell. But for the most part, most women, when they get, past 30, 31, 32, all that bullshit out the window. They're looking for a real good man. They don't want a rebel anymore. They're looking for a nerd then. They played around from 20 to 30, but when they get 31, 32, they want to settle down. Then they're looking for a nerd. if they growed up. If they haven't grown up, then they still that bullshit, want to rebel, and all that bullshit. So, but I've been told by many women of different races that a rebel is like a challenge. White women have told me it's a challenge, dude. I don't know how to explain it. It's just a challenge, dude. I just like it. Black women, it got to be a real challenge to me for me to like a man. Even Chinese. Let me stop. You get the picture. Women seem to think it's a challenge to pick a bad man because they see it as a challenge to them. And I'll elaborate that more on that in a minute. But what do a bad man look like? What do a piece of shit man looks like? Now, typical characteristics of a piece of shit man: 8-pack stomach, pretty eyes, nice physique, good profile, perfect chin and shit, athletic. You get the picture. Real pretty motherfucker. But let me tell you something right now. That is a stereotype. That's a stereotype because just because a man is a pretty boy doesn't mean that he's a piece of shit. And it doesn't mean that all pretty boys are pieces of shit either. I've seen some men who were some real ugly motherfuckers who treated women bad as well. So that's a stereotype. It's just not pretty men. It's ugly motherfuckers as well that treat women bad as well. A dog is a dog. Don't matter if he's pretty or don't matter if he's ugly. But I want ladies to listen to me right now. Listen to me. Whether the guy is a pretty boy, or whether he's an ugly motherfucker, with a lot of money, or whether he's a fat guy with a big dick, it don't matter. The men that are dogs and pieces of shit, they know you. They see you coming from a mile away. They know you want them, not because you dig them. They know you want them for the wrong reasons. They're a pretty boy. They know you want them because they're pretty. You're very attractive. If you're ugly motherfucker with money, they know that you want them for your money. And of course, you fat with a big dick, they want you for your dick. They want you for something that you can give them. They know this, ladies. They see you coming a mile away. You're so obvious. Women are so obvious and so damn silly. They think they're so damn smart, but they really are so damn silly to not realize that they're so obvious. They see you coming from a mile away. So what do? They play along with it. The pretty boys, the ugly boys, the fat motherfuckers with the big dicks. They play along with it. So what do? They haze your ass. They haze your ass. They put you through hell. They put you through all kinds of shit. Cheating on you, not calling you, just flat out disrespecting you. Depending on how good the pussy is, they really put you through something. But in reality, they have no real intentions of being with you for the long term, being with you forever. They don't want to make you a soulmate because they know you're with them for bullshit reasons. You're with them because of their money. You're with them because of their looks. You're with them because of their dick size. So after they use you up, get all your money, enjoy all the buffets of pussy, then they throw you away like a dirty wash rag. And then that's when all the insults come. All men are pieces of shit. All men aren't shit. All men are dogs. And which is bullshit. Because you are the one who made that decision to be with that piece of shit. You are the one who made the decision to be with that dog. So don't go crying when the dog bites you. Because you're going to get bitten. You're going to get bitten. A lot of you women out there listening to me saying, no, I won't get bitten. No, that's not going to happen to me. Because a lot of women believe that, first of all, they believe they're so damn smart. But second of all, they think their purpose on this earth is to be saviors of men and shit. They think they can change a man to something and mold them to something that they want. Women always claim to know shit. So why can't they see a piece of shit when it comes in front of them? I'll tell you why again. Because women wants to be the savior of all men. I can help you. I can save him. I can change his heart. I'll make him a good person. It's such bullshit. When are women gonna really realize they can't change a man? They can't change a man's heart. They can't change a man's philosophy. They can't do shit. They're powerless. They can't do that. When are women going to realize that? Damn. You would think they would know that by now, but it continues the same cycle. You see women, years ago who still thought that shit. They can get with some guy, some bad guy, some rebel, and they'll change him. They'll make him good. And still today, with the generations, go down through the ages, from the baby boomers to the Xers to the Yers to the millennials, it's still continuing. Women think that they can change men, and it's just bullshit. So they get with these guys, who they believe that they can change, even though they know that they are pieces of shit. They know that the guys are not good men, yet they still choose to be with them. So, like I said before, over the years, women talk to me about men who were considered bad, or men that were considered to be rebels, or men that were considered to be dogs, whatever adjective you want to use, or men were considered to be Sith, whatever you want to say, but over the years, women have always, I've heard it from so many women that it's a challenge. It's exciting to be with a bad guy. Normal guys and good guys are boring. I don't want them. They're boring. They're so predictable. How many times have you heard that? I mean, really. Women, listen to this. How many times have you said it when you were younger? Or still saying that bullshit? How many times have you heard these statements? Nice guys are boring. Nice guys finish last. I want a rebel. I want a roughneck. I want a bad guy who's exciting, who's a challenge. Like I said before, women, it can just be silly as hell sometimes. So, what is the result of this? What is the result of this decision to be with a guy who you know who's going to dog you? I mean, he has a reputation, and I'm not saying that people can't change. I'm not saying that. People can change. But what I'm saying is, people change because they want to change, not because you're going to change them. Ladies, I'm talking to you. If a man is going to change his heart, a man is going to change his ways, it's because he wants to change. It's not because you want him to change. You're not going to do, you have no power. You have no power in that activity. He has to want to change. You can't change him. So what is the result of a woman deciding to be with a man with a reputation of having a lot of women, of cheating, whatever the case may be, not relationship material or marriage material, for sure. He has a reputation for that. And it's pretty obvious that he has no desire to change anytime soon. Okay? I'm talking about this kind of piece of shit. So what is the result of women deciding to be with someone like this? I tell you what the result is. Usually what happens when women, get used up and thrown away like dirty wash rags or dirty drawers, and I say dirty drawers because, a lot of times dirty drawers, some people had doo-doo in the drawers, and I'm trying to use an analogy. You get basically women getting shitted on. So once they get shitted on and thrown away, and like dirty drawers, that's what usually happens. They get used up, get fucked up, somebody getting a belly for the pussy anytime they want. Just use them up. Then what happened? They hate all men. All men are dogs. All men ain't shit. All men are dummies. All men are fucked up. All men are devils. Why are we getting blamed? What? So you've been with a piece of shit. You chose to be with that piece of shit. And now all men are being condemned? What kind of silly shit is that? In truth, women, if you chose to be with that piece of shit man, then that's your right. But don't go putting down and generalizing all men because you fucked up. You fucked up by picking a bad apple. All those damn good apples in the barrel, red or green, whatever one you like, Macintosh, whatever. All the good apples in the barrel, your ass gonna pick one with a worm in it. And then it's the worm fault. You see what I'm saying? That's some crazy shit. You see all these pretty apples, you gonna pick the one with a worm, and you gonna blame the worm. The worm doing his thing. The worm doing what he's supposed to do. Can't blame him. You the one, you stupid motherfucker who picked up the apple. It's not the worm's fault. In translation, you pick a guy who's a piece of shit, you pick a dog or a rebel, he doing what he do. It's not his fault that you chose him. You chose him. He's doing what he's supposed to do. And that's dog your ass. But don't go get mad at, getting angry at all men, because you fucked up and you wanted this, pretty guy or, ugly guy, fat guy with a big dick, and you get dogged out, it's nobody's fault but yours. So really women, who fall in this category, and it's a lot of you. It's a lot of you. I mean, women, some women who fall in this category, some of them, put men down. They become feminists and shit, want to kill all men, want to cause bodily harm to all men, want to cut their dick off and all kind of shit. Want to hurt men, want to run them over with cars. All kind of shit. They hate men. Some women even turn gay. All this because of the decision that they made. Because they fucked up. They don't want to blame somebody else when they get bitten. Let me tell you something. If you raise a rattlesnake, eventually your ass gonna get bitten. You'll never be able to trust that motherfucker. You'll never be able to trust that rattlesnake to pick him up. You'll never be able to trust him to rub him. You'll never be able to trust him to feed him by hand. Because he's going to bite you as soon as he get the chance. That's the same thing with a dog, ladies. If you with him, you made a decision to beat him, you know what he's about. Eventually, he's going to get you. Eventually, he's going to get you. He's going to fuck you over. It's nobody's fault but yours. It's not the man's population fault. It's not, every guy in the barrel's fault. It's yours. Yours alone. So women, to be quite honest, you really need to shut the fuck up when this happens to you, because you should have seen it coming. And a lot of you did see it coming. You just, with that saving attitude, thinking you can change somebody. When in reality, you can't change shit. Now, a lot of you who are listening to this still saying, "Oh, Roosevelt, you don't know what you're talking about." Well, all right. Well, maybe I don't. Maybe I don't. But I will say this. Maybe I do. Huh? A lot of women have fallen in this boat. A lot of women have chosen. I mean, I've had friends, women friends, guy friends who were dogs, So I've seen it on both sides. I've seen guys who were pretty boys, pretty motherfuckers. I've seen guys who were ugly as hell, but they had money or they had a position or something to give that they can provide to women. Maybe they're a producer or something like that in music or whatever. They had something that they had to offer that women wanted. So women threw pussy at them, no matter what kind of guy they were. And of course, I've seen, fat guys with big dicks and, get all the pussy. So I've seen it on both sides. I've seen guys, friends tell me, I know, hey man, I'm gonna fuck this hoe, man. I'm gonna get her. Oh, she like me, man. She all about the material shit. I'm gonna get that pussy, then I'm gonna throw her ass away. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I do things, man. I mean, fuck her, She ain't shit. I heard it from all types of guys, white, black, Hispanic, don't matter, who have women who know that the women are with them because of something that they have, whether it's material or something physical, that they have something that they like. They know that they're with them for the wrong reasons. And they put them through a bunch of shit because they know they're not with them for the right reasons. I've seen women who complain about guys who they've chosen. I've given him everything. I've let him use my car. I've given him money. I paid his rent. I bought him a new iPhone. And he still cheats on me. Stupid ass. I've seen both sides. And that's fine. That's life. But all I'm saying is, ladies, like I said before, it's your right. You want to pick a guy who's a piece of shit, that's your right. That's your choice. Hey, that's on you. Cool. But don't come with that bullshit when he does what he's supposed to do, does what he's eventually going to do, which is bite you, like that rattlesnake you're trying to raise. When he does that, don't come telling me all that bullshit that all men ain't nothing, all men are dogs, all men are devils. I hate all men. I'm gay now. Don't be coming with me that bullshit, because I'm going to tell you, it's your fault. You knew what the fuck you were getting into when you was dealing with that bitch. If you deal with a guy who's a piece of shit, you deserve whatever happens to you. It's your right, but don't come crying to me when you get bitten. So women, shut the fuck up and live with it. Live with your decisions that you make. Hopefully, you won't get taken behind the shed too bad. Women need to start waking up. Stop picking guys for material shit. Stop picking guys, for physical shit. Stop picking guys because they have big dicks. I've had that problem a lot. I ain't gonna lie. Women trying to take advantage of me because of my big dick. But that still doesn't make it right. That still doesn't make it right. I would consider myself, I'm not a dog. I admit it. I just don't have the stomach for that. That takes a special type of guy. I don't know. It just takes a certain type of guy to dog a woman out. That's not me. Now, I like pussy. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get some pussy. I'm gonna get you. But I'm not the one that dog you out. I'm not the one you have to worry about. I don't want your money. I don't want to borrow your car. I don't want anything from you. But some pussy. That's all I want. But I don't want anything from you. I'm not going to use you. I'm not going to exploit you. I'm not a dog. I'm not a rebel. But there are guys out there who are. And they know that you are with them or you digging them because of their big dick, because of their money, because of their bodies. Whatever the case may be, whatever you like, they know that you're with them because of that. And you're playing right into their hands. They're going to dog you out. So ladies, be careful of the decisions that you make. When you make those decisions, and it's a bad one, it's a bad decision, don't go blaming the whole male population because of your decision. You the one made that fucked up decision, you the one that has to live with it. And you're the one that should live with it. It's nobody else's fault but yours. You know what you were getting into. So shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear none of that. All guys are dirty. All guys, I hate all guys. I don't want to hear none of that shit. Because you knew what you were getting into. So stop picking guys because of what they can give you, what they look like, what the dick size is, whatever the case may be. Stop assessing guys for all the wrong reasons. And start getting with guys because of real, genuine reasons. Real reasons. Reasons that will be the difference of you staying together for 1 year or 40 years. Real reasons. So anyway, ladies, I don't want to hear you crying no more about men being dogs, men being devils. Just keep that to yourself. Because if you say it to me, I'm gonna call you out on it. If you say it to me, I'm gonna embarrass you. And guys, if really, to be honest with you, if they say it to you, you should embarrass them. Women need to be called out on this shit because they do it so often. You know, nobody ever calls them out. So, they keep doing it or think, no, everybody's stupid and don't notice. They need to be called out on it. So if you do it, you say it in front of me, I'm going to call you out. I'm just letting you know. Oh, men are stupid. Men are dogs. No. You were stupid. You're the one that chose that motherfucker. You made your decision. You had delay in it. Nobody else made that decision but you. It's nobody else's fault but yours. So stop making decisions when it comes to men, ladies, for all the wrong reasons. And start looking for the right reasons. The real reasons. The reasons that matter. That concludes another episode of the X and Y Show. I hope you enjoyed this week's segment. Be sure to check me out every Friday at 11:30. By the way, before I forget, the Super Bowl will be played Sunday. I want to make my decision or make my prediction right now, so I just want to put it on record. Although I believe, I really desire the Atlanta Falcons to win. And I'm not a Atlanta Falcon fan. For those of you who know me, you know I'm a Denver Bronco fan. But obviously they're not in it, so I got to root something. And usually, if I'm a Denver Bronco fan, which is AFC, I root for the AFC team. Except when New England in. I just don't like them. I don't like them. I think they're a bunch of bitches. But, even though I would really like for Atlanta Falcons to win, I just don't think they will. I think they're going to get the shit beat out of them. I think the score would be like 38-10. Unfortunately, Brady will get another ring. Kraft will get another ring. The organization will get another ring. Belichick, all those other motherfuckers. Fuck them. Anyway, so that's my prediction. New England Patriots, 38-10, unfortunately. Next year, Broncos will be back after we get Romo. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed tonight's segment. And be sure to check the X and Y Show out on all of the listening avenues that's available to you. I'm on iTunes. I'm on TuneIn. I'm on Stitcher. And I'm also on Google Play. So be sure to listen and also subscribe. Please subscribe to the avenue that is more preferable to you. I'm also on social media. I'm on Tumblr. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. And I'm also on Instagram as well. So be sure to follow me on my various social media accounts. You can find everything on my website, and also the main platform which I broadcast from, which is Spreaker. My website is www.thexyshow.com. That's www.thexyshow.com. So you can find everything there. My social media, my listening platforms, everything is there, as well as the X and Y shop, which you can get a t-shirt or a coffee mug, something to show people that you're a true X and Wyer. I'm going to add more things into the store soon. I've been saying that for so long, but I just can't make a decision on what I'm going to put in there. But for right now, you can get a t-shirt You can also get a coffee mug and show people that you're X and Y. Send me a pic, and I will definitely post it on my IG account and show everyone how big of an X and Y that you are. Also, you have an opportunity to leave a comment on the page as well. And the email will come straight to me, and I will definitely read it over the air. Any constructive criticisms, any recommendations of future shows, or just a hello, whatever you want to say, is on there as well. So be sure to visit my website, www.thexyshow.com. So, with that being said, that concludes another week of the X and Y Show, and I will see you next week. And I want you to always remember, you cannot have love without X and Y. See you next week. Later.
You've been listening to The X and Y Show with your host, Roosevelt Colbert, the place where real relationship issues are talked about and addressed. Join us next time. You can now put your clothes back on. Or not.